What is going on, you beautiful people? Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday today, isn't it? Super quick live here for like 17 minutes. That is what we're going to do. We're going to go through a couple of your questions that come up in the video comments and stuff like that to kind of, chat about them, discuss them, see where things are at and how things are going. Everything, of course. So, hope everyone's having a great and wonderful Wednesday. I do always enjoy kind of going through these questions and comments because some of them make my brain absolutely, well, want to jump out of my skull, and others are great questions and insights and thoughts. So, what do we got here? Lots of positive feedback on the obesity stories that we've been putting up. Thank you for this. Getting stories out there helps to chip away at the frustrating and harmful misconceptions about obesity. Absolutely. Yeah, that's something we're definitely trying to do with it. And if you want to partake or what have you in sharing your story on my YouTube Live, then definitely going down to the links down below and you'll be able to kind of put in your info and we'll see if you're a candidate and get everything all set up to actually do the interview with you. So yeah, really great feedback there. And then at upstate New York, way to blame the United States. He's responsible for how much he consumes, not America. So this lovely individual, we'll call him friend, was commenting on the video in the obesity story with Rob, and way to blame the United States. It continues just to baffle me that you present the evidence, people tell their story, even in Rob's case, came from Europe, was still struggling with his weight there, but when he moved to the States, suddenly things just went awry and he gained a whole bunch of weight. It's almost like there's something else that's going on here. You know what I'm saying? Like perhaps, just perhaps, the standard American diet is unhealthier compared to, say, the European nutrition on average. And that is a contributing factor. And he also actually, this individual highlights something that's really funny where people seem to confuse what's considered fault and responsibility. So fault is this thing that happens in the past, right? It's if I hit you with my car, well, you're not at fault for that. I'm at fault, but you are responsible for how you go and whether you get into the ambulance that comes to pick you up, whether you go to the hospital, whether you turn around and sue me because I hit you with my car, etc. So there's two distinct differences. Fault is something that's in the past, and yes, you can be at fault for things. There's things you're not at fault for, and so on. Where responsibility is future focused. So when I talk about people having obesity and it not being their fault, it doesn't mean that they're not responsible for it, which I think a lot of people, for some reason, get very angry and thinking that people, and when we say that we're not saying that people with obesity are responsible for it. I assure you, they know they are responsible for it, and 99.9% of them are taking steps to try and mitigate it and manage it, but they're not at fault for it. They didn't wake up one morning and be like, I want to have a weight problem. I want to spend the next 20, 30, 40 years of my life beating myself up, trying various crash diets in order to lose weight. That sounds like a great fucking life to me. You know what I'm saying? So really, when we kind of think about it and actually kind of distill down the definitions and not just see things as black and white, we suddenly see there's a different picture there. And unfortunately, this individual still does not get it. But what can you do? Anyways, love this. More of this, please. Definitely on my managing nausea and vomiting. Unfortunately, this person, I took my first shot yesterday, but I just got done vomiting at 11:40. Today's the second day. I got bloated earlier, didn't anything, just drank water. Gas. Today I got sudden diarrhea, nighttime, puked everything I ate, couldn't sleep. All I ate today was rice. Hopefully after vomiting I can go to sleep. My craziness does feel a lot better, but still there. In the morning and try and eat something healthy. So, I mean, as with anything, there's always potential side effects that can occur with these medications, and it's like any other kind of medication. We need to be mindful of that. You need to be following up with your care team. And for some people, if you're getting severe side effects, we can play around with the dose, reduce the dose, kind of change the dosing windows, different things like that. But ultimately, some drugs just maybe aren't meant for some people, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of being aware of that and getting the proper support and such like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be an ongoing battle and perspective from that case of it, definitely. Lots of really great comments about the exercise piece. So I made a post this week regarding how exercise is just not effective for weight loss. Like, it's just not an effective modality. The amount that you need to do in order to have weight loss occur is just, it's an insurmountable large amount, and it's really just not an effective means to try and lose weight. It largely comes down to your dietary patterns and what you're eating. That is kind of the main thing that you can control to create a calorie deficit. So exercise should be really in the focus of trying to add lean muscle tissue, trying to improve your health. Both things exercise is fantastic and really great at. So you want to spend a lot of your time focusing in that realm of things, because you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck. So yeah, exercise is great. And the best thing you can do for your health, but it's not going to be your ticket to losing weight. That is for sure. Great conversation about body dysmorphia. So this is on my Obesity Stories with Rob. I find it goes both ways for me. When I'm overweight, I don't think I am. Shock myself in the mirror. But when I lose weight, it is just as shocking. Yeah, the body dysmorphia thing is, yeah, it's a big one. I've definitely struggled with that. And, going to the gym, lifting weights, not believing I'm big enough, and that sort of thing. Like, it's, I think all of us to some degree have it. And the older I've gotten, the less it's become an issue and less I think about it. I mean, that's actively kind of dealing with it, and, the voices and stuff like that kind of say that, there's a problem with my body, and kind of checking those and recognizing that they're not actually, it's not actual reality. It's just an emotional knee-jerk reaction that I'm kind of having and experiencing and stuff like that. So, but it is nonetheless very, very challenging. Michelle Van Kuren 9604. Whatever, obesity kills. It is not okay. If they cared about folks, they would put money into prevention instead of intervention. Nope, y'all wait till they're diabetic and or 600 pounds or both. Once again, doctors and pharmaceutical make money off fat, sick people. So sick of seeing these drugs pushed. Oh, Jesus Christ. I just I always find these people delightful. The real problem is the lawmakers and Congress people and people in your government and stuff that you've elected. And instead of actually going and lobbying them, writing letters to them, getting in their face to actually, promote and push these kinds of ideals and stuff like that, you instead come onto the internet and for some reason watch videos that are clearly going to talk about these medications and that sort of thing, and then get all upset in the comment section and don't actually do anything that's productive and useful. And in reality, even with all of the prevention in the world, these things are still going to occur and happen. And so a balanced healthcare system is both prevention, which is hugely beneficial, but also looking at a acute aspect of it where we can manage things that ultimately develop because they're out of the individual's control and are largely due to genetics. And lots of money does get put into prevention aspect of things. And in fact, we actually use these medications in many respects as prevention. And yeah, so, and then pharmaceutical make money off of it. And again, as always, I am still waiting for a damn paycheck. Like, does anybody know where this money is apparently at? I would happily take a payout from big pharma at this point, because it just has not come across. And so I keep getting blamed for it and saying I'm taking money, but my Honda Civic and I will definitely say otherwise. I would assume this individual is probably selling something online that doesn't actually have any evidence and, you know, making money off of it. But Big Herb or whatever they want to call it. Anyways, comments like this are just so very much shows a lack of education and understanding, not only about the world's business and just about everything, but obesity, weight management, preventative medicine, and that sort of thing in general. And yeah, that's too bad. Kind of sad. Weight loss, exercise usually ain't great for that. Though there are ways, definitely. Improvements in body composition. Yeah, exercise definitely can. I would agree with that. Improving body composition, so increasing muscle mass, tweaking and changing how your body responds and, you know, utilizes the fuel that you put into it. Exercise is, again, hands down the best thing you can do for your health, whether it's supporting, you know, weight management, diabetes, what have you, but it's not going to be a super great measure for that weight loss piece of it. But all these fat people say they took it off and kept it off. When? On my should you choose Wegovy for heart health and obesity? I don't understand this question. I think the education system sometimes also needs some funding, particularly English, because it's always hard to get these questions. But I think they're asking like the way to come back if they come off the drug. And then, you know, that's kind of a misconception of we're just treating this like any other kind of diet plan or program where you do it, it works, and then when you stop it, you gain the weight back. And that's not the way that these medications should be used. There are some people that definitely can keep the weight off, but they are exceedingly rare and most people cannot. And that's okay. It's using and utilizing the technology and advancements that make our lives easier so that we can spend more of our time focusing on things that really matter in life. If you drive your car to work, well, you are using something, a tool that allows you to spend more time with your kids in the evening and not having to walk for hours upon hours upon hours every single day. Same thing with air conditioning in your home. Being cool, well rested, again, allows you to focus more energy on things that are important to you. Similarly with these medications, which for most people are a lifelong thing that we want to utilize and yeah, not come off of it if we don't need to. So I think that's what that is, but that's why I'm going to answer it. Awesome. Another really great feedback. So what is it likelihood that my diarrhea is caused by tapiato versus erythritol sweetened chocolate versus a stomach bug? Should I continue my next dose even if I have current bout of diarrhea? That is like an impossible question to answer without knowing more about you as an individual and all the other things that you have going on in your life. The biggest thing with a stomach bug is you might also have vomiting and a fever and more infectious type symptoms. But you should probably follow up with your doctor or a doctor and get kind of a proper diagnosis based on your medical history versus asking a question on the internet. Yeah. I do this kind of exercise for heart health, better ability to navigate the stairs, and ability to hike mountains. Personally, I don't think that I will ever like exercise. I think it all, a lot of times when people say they don't like exercise, I've been coming to find that there's like a piece where it's almost like you had a early trauma with exercise, where there was in a crappy gym class or whatever, some kind of situation where just gym and exercise, and you've created this negative association in your head, that there was a great deal of pain around it, whether that's emotional, physical, or what have you. And that's just carried on with you into your adult life. Kind of like when we have bad experiences at certain points or what have you, it's it can kind of leave that lasting effect that we avoid those things or act a certain way in a relationship and that sort of thing. So that can definitely be some underlying aspect of it. And yeah, and I mean, exercise, you do get endorphins and it does feel good from that perspective. But yeah, not all exercise you're going to like. Similarly, I don't always like going to work. I don't always like having to commute and that sort of thing. But there's just some things that we ultimately have to do for our health. I mean, you technically don't have to do them. Like, no one's saying and putting a gun to your head that you need to be active and get exercise. But if you want to avoid medications, if you want to, manage your health and that sort of thing, yeah, there's some things that you need to do that you're probably not going to like. And that's just a reality of life. In some respects, I think our society is a little bit too reward centric and driven by the dopamine aspect of things, that we tend to focus on that versus what is the better and important things in life. And ultimately the things that are going to be most fulfilling and the best for us overall are going to be things that take time, require patience, and so on and so forth. So nonetheless, great comments, great questions. That's a little short one today. Maybe I'll do another one later this week. Holy crap, I got a lot of comments here. Let me quickly answer. So Rob, do you think the Tirzepatide shortage will be over on September 6th, like Eli Lilly claims? Rob, all we can do is hope like hell. I'll believe it when I see it. That's kind of the methodology that I'm going with at this point in time. Yeah, it's really it's coming down to just when it actually happens, when I can order it on a consistent basis, then I will say, yes, the shortage is over. In the meantime, everything that I hear, I've been lied to so many times at this point that it's just, no, not going to happen. Ada J, regarding obesity, do you know if there's much knowledge in the area of lipedema, the cause, management, etc.? Great question. And to give you the short answer of it, no, we don't have a heck of a lot really in that space of things. We're learning more about it. And currently, from what I know, the only interventions that are currently providing more of an effectiveness and being actually that great is surgical, like kind of not a liposuction thing, but there's some special surgeries. There's a couple of docs that do it on TikTok and Instagram and that sort of thing, and you can kind of see a little bit how it goes. But yeah, there's not a heck of a lot in that respect of it. I'm hoping that we're going to start seeing some of the studies doing a bit of an assessment where they pull a certain group that has this out of some of these studies and kind of seeing how the drug works. I have heard from colleagues that they've had patients, utilize some of these drugs. It doesn't necessarily help with the trapped fat and the diseased fat, but helping with just general body weight, and that all can kind of reduce some of the inflammation and that sense of it. So yeah, there's a lot of big gaps. It's becoming more well known, but it's still not, we still don't have a lot. It's a long way to go. I adore you, Dr. Dan. You are so much more patient than I am, and I deal with this all the time too. It's a true story. And I mean, we can't get upset about people not understanding because A, they don't know what they don't know. B, I mean, if they're willing to go on the internet and yell and scream about certain things, they've got some big issues of their own, So yeah, that's kind of that. So Mary, thank you so much, Dr. Dan. Plan to review your pancreas video because my lipase level went to 170. My doctor told me to stop Ozempic for a month and retest labs. Felt no side effects before the blood test. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, the GLP-1s, they can increase your lipase levels. If you don't have symptoms of pancreatitis, then what I found, it's not a problem. But we do know that these drugs do elevate your lipase levels because they make your pancreas work a little bit more better, if you will. But it doesn't mean your pancreas is becoming inflamed. And we also don't have any data to show that there's a connection. Lipase levels are high, and you're automatically going to get pancreatitis. But clinicians tend to see that higher level freak out, and voila, there we go. So yeah, I almost stopped ordering lipase now because I'm like, well, it's going to be high. I would say 60% of the time. And yeah, it's totally fine. Patients are asymptomatic. So sweet. I've got to check out and go to another meeting. So great chatting with everybody. And yeah, we will be back at some point in time. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Oh.